Okay, hello, welcome back to the Chiefs analysis. This is for, of course, holy, what the hell? This is for game one of the first series for Chiefs, which is Chief DFM, game one. I think for who don't know, obviously Chief lost to. I think there's a lot of things that can be improved, and I think a lot of things that um I think are still there from the last split that I wasn't very happy with seeing, to be honest. Some improvements, I will say. I think drafting in some respects has gotten better, but I still think it's very, very bad when we're kind of off our game plan. So, firstly, obviously banning Callisto versus Scion. I don't get the Scion ban when they don't have Bow Pattern, because for this series they had Zornus, obviously. Um, I think Bio should be always in, to be honest. I think Zorn should just be a sub. I kind of don't get this thing. I guess it's like copying CFO, like swapping top laners and stuff, but I think Bio was just like by far the best player in Chiefs last split and was kind of giving them that consistency that they needed in games to actually like ink out a few. And so I kind of just think Bio should just always be in. Callisto bans, in general. I think this is weird. I don't think it's that good of a pick. Obviously, it opens up Lewin's champ pool, but I don't think, from what I've seen, they really are utilizing the pick as it should be used. I mean, they're just kind of spamming like Callisto Renata, Callisto Nico, when you should be kind of playing like Soraka, Sona, like these heavy scalers, because that's kind of the only strat that lets you play those in most games, unless they just slam a Yumi. And then Varus, okay, man. I think for Chiefs, the vibe band's really shit. I kind of hate this champ. I think it's not that good. It's kind of just like, obviously it's like point and click with the R, but I think that's kind of extremely overrated. I can get countered quite easily, especially if you pick it on the B1 like a lot of teams do, or like B2 B3. I think it's only really pickable like here, here, and like here, in like very certain team comps where like they might have like a protect the president kind of thing, but it's not good enough to kind of ward off the Vi situation. Gwen's obviously a good ban. I think Gwen is quite strong in the flex. You can even flex in mid in some cases, but I think that's a bit iffy. I don't think I'll do that. I think these two are definitely locks though. Although tops, it's quite nerfed. Just in a lot of matchups, it's kind of losing again. Just from nerfs, but it's still very very strong jungle, and just the kind of way to the game is right now is very strong. And then Azir ban's okay, to be honest. It just depends on what Chiefs are planning for the game. B1 Rumble, I think it's okay. It's obviously not my like preferred. I think obviously like like Karma, Ivern's really strong, like shit like that. I definitely prefer Ashe, to be honest. Like I kind of don't get this thing of dropping your AD pick to like down here, that a lot of teams are doing right now, because I just think that the picks that they're prioritizing on here just aren't worth it. I think it's a lot better to just take like like the Ashe or like the Varus so it's unbanned. I mean, they do take the Varus early, to be fair. Ezreal is still quite good. Like, there are, I think a lot of picks people can do early. Tristana Flex is really strong. And then, like obviously I think the rest Lucian is also, I think, still really strong, just like for how the game kind of works. And then obviously Chiefs respond with Shinzao Ari. I think this is not too bad. I'm a big fan of Shinzao. I just think that in the current like I guess state of the game where it's really skirmish heavy around these constantly spawning objective, he has a lot of value and he scales decently into games. Especially like if you angle enchanter here, like I think like probably the best R1 R2 in the game is something like Shin Karma, or like if you don't want to flex the Karma to mid or top, then you go like the Ashe early something. Although you kind of assume they're gonna pick the Ashe B1 or something, because I think that is just the BIS pick. But this is okay. But I did have one comment, but I'll probably get to it later in the draft discussion. But I think this is okay. You're kind of going for a very good mid jungle combo. Ari's a good blind, I think, for a lot of people. Although I'm kind of not convinced that the Roa build is that good. I still think Malignance is quite decent. I think this is just kind of fake because people aren't used to playing against like a tank Ari, so the trades are quite weird. But like I definitely think that like you kind of want to save mid pick for here, especially with Shinzao, because I think Ari's okay, but you don't want to be like Ari Shinzao is not what you want to be angling. You want to be playing like you want to have like a Syndra or like an Ori on R3 or like R4, right? Like I think that's what you want to be playing for, and see if they kind of like drop their mid pick like early or something. Um, and I kind of doubt they would if you don't show mid early, but like they could possibly. Then I see these guys just go Wukong Rise. I think Wukong is just like a good pick into Shinzao. It's good in the game currently. It's kind of like Shinzao's like alter ego type of thing kind of accomplishes the same thing with this mid jungle combo. Although Shinzai I think is just a bit superior. Although Wukong is obviously better in terms of like just 1v1 pure jungle matchup, which doesn't matter in some games. I think it's okay. Like people like kind of like answering like this, they like handshaking this kind of lane, or you just pick the Ari blind and then you go to Rise, and like it's fine. But I just feel like the issue is like you already have this double AP, which is why I really don't like this rumble early. Because if you just go AD here, then you still have flexibility on your top pick later. Even though you obviously do still have the blind, right? Because you're on blue side, but it's not that bad IMO. And then I think Chiefs just kind of blunder here going MF. I really think that there's obviously this like heavy prio on MF currently because people just think like, oh, she has a strong like combo with like this ult and like, oh okay, she like just hard pushes wins lane because she trades really heavy early game from her like fucking passive and shit, and it's just kind of like, yeah, sure, but I feel like the champ's just kind of useless. Like I feel like you'd much rather like in a game you'd be having like, or not that, like a Lucian in this game and Ashe in this game, like Sivir if you want to drop AD pick, like Sivir Twitch can come out, like Trist Flex is good, Kai'Sa's still good, like Xayah into certain comps can be quite good, Jinx is still really Jinx is really strong. And like especially if you ban something like the Vi, like you kind of want to be angling to like a actual hyper like Jinx. And then also like I think picking MF, which was a champion that stands still when she ults like this into these three champs, like doesn't seem that good. It's kind of you're just kind of flipping that like these picks and then these picks are able to kind of guard her well enough, but it kind of depends on like the dynamics in like the game, on like the matchups and like all that. And I think it's quite flip. I think you can just pick like a safer pick here. Like I think Jinx is like obviously you can still say Jinx get dived on, but like a lot harder for Jinx to just get rumble ulted on and like get tanked for a billion damage. Like if assuming they play this game correctly, but like it's not the end of the world. Because I think this game definitely hinges a lot on the mid jungle. And less so on the AD. So I think just picking a kind of safe AD lane that like kind of I guess guarantees you the sort of like big like team fight burst damage. Just like okay, like it's not too bad. So I don't completely hate it in that sense. And then she's always just been Ezreal or Khan. These are just pretty decent picks for DFM. I think this is fine. And obviously Jace Alistar. I think Alistar pick is fine, but like, if I'm DFM, I'm probably scared of like this sort of like I'm scared of a Braum angle. I'm scared of like a Rel angle possibly with the MF. So I feel like banning the Alistar is kind of weird. I think Jace is fine. If they want to save like R5 support or whatever, like they can just blind the Jace here and you feel pretty good as Chiefs. I think that this is honestly fine. And then obviously Chiefs just go R for Aurora. That's the one I want to talk about. I think it's really weird that they save the Aurora here. I guess it's a thing if they weren't like planning the Aurora, but like you see Rumble B1, right? It's like why wouldn't you just go Aurora here and then save the flex? Like the Aurora can go mid and top, obviously, right? Like it's pretty good in both lanes. And I mean, in depends on matchup on top lane, right? But it's still just quite strong. And I think like if that's what you want to do, like Aurora here is just way better on the R2. Maybe Jimmy just does not play Aurora, but I think it's like he does, right? He has to. So it's like it's way better if you just maintain this flex rather than just blind the Ari for no reason. Like the only issue is like maybe they're scared. You're scared they get the Ari, but I feel like you're fine if they get the Ari. Like I don't think it's a big deal. Like I think you'd much rather just have the flex and then you can get the double counter like on these lanes, and then you're like really happy because if it shins out, then you'll probably have support counter pick or something, right? And then your game should just be won if you go a real AD like not MF. And then obviously like DFM just go Kai'Sa not. This is dog shit. And why is it dog shit? This Nautilus champion just like sucks. It's not good at all. I don't get why people play it. It just has too many, like it's strong level 1 and that's kind of it. And then it just kind of does nothing after that. Like Nautilus can be very easily countered. Like you can just slam a Braum. Like you can just go like some fucking like whatever, like you can just completely fuck this guy. And then Kai'Sa as well. Kai'Sa is quite short range, and I feel like Kai'Sa just cannot hit into here. So you want to probably go like some weird poke variation. But then like you already have this double AP, so you're not getting a lot of value out of that. So you want to go AD, but like you can't hit that well in this comp. So it's quite weird. They obviously would have liked something like an Ezreal more, but I just think that like the Kai'Sa is definitely not the play here. But I definitely think the Nautilus is the bigger issue. This is complete int, because what that also does is it gives them a completely free rel angle I could see an argument for Braum here as well, maybe, but I think they obviously just value this combo, which is like fine. I think it just makes the fights a lot easier to play. But I just think my main issue is that if you don't get ahead as Chiefs in this game, it's like really annoying because you don't have a real AD, you have MF. So like you kind of just have no damage, right? But you're kind of lucky because they've kind of like fucked themselves with these picks, right? And then kind of like this B1 Rumble, so you kind of just have winning lane interactions everywhere. Like mid's a bit iffy, but you're playing Ari, so like this is champion, this is blindable, like it doesn't really lose any lanes. So like it's like if you're Chiefs, you walk away this game super happy, and like I think they obviously had some blunders like in terms of the drafting order and then this MF on free, but I think besides that they drafted this game quite cleanly. And I think the actual game itself was quite clean, but I don't think they really grasped the strength of their comp because their comp is a zone of control comp. Like you want to kind of like get push out, like if this is mid, like you know your Shinzao walks on this lane and supports here or whatever, supports here. You kind of help push out this lane, and then you move to like the objectives on these sides, and then you kind of can just get full zone of control like around these bushes and shit, and then just like completely like just nuke someone because you have a fucking Ari, Aurora, Rel, Shinzao. Like you just nuke someone and then get the free objective. And then obviously like playing off of mid jungle room, like the overload plays on side. I think it's okay. They did get one overload play off, but they lost two towers off of it. So like I kind of respect the vision on the play, but I think they obviously just need to get their lane assignments and their kind of lane push outs a lot better and like fixing ways and stuff. Um, and like I think a lot of fights was kind of just like Aurora was quite late. They weren't really playing the zone of control properly, but I think it was okay because DFM just kind of is down champion by picking Nautilus. And then obviously like they didn't really have like that good CC for the Rumble and stuff. But like this game I think was definitely not bad. It definitely showed me kind of a better side of Chiefs where they weren't just completely like eighth by far. They were kind of like I could see them kind of like get creeping in the like 6-5 spot maybe. Like they kind of continued these types of like decent drafts and like okay play. I think definitely Husha was the star in this game. I was very impressed with him. Um, I think Husha and Zornis were playing this game quite well. I think Violet did okay, but I just think his champ sucks, and he did have some moments I think where they were kind of just caught out for no reason. But I think other than that, the game was actually quite clean, and I was pretty okay with it. But I cannot say that for the next two games, so Okay, for second game, same bans for Chiefs. Chiefs on the red side here. I think this is okay. Again, vibe bans really dog shit. These bans are fine depending on what they want to do in the game. And obviously DFM, keep the same two bans, and then they ban Skarner instead of the Scion, which is I think Skarner's just not a good champion. I know people probably disagree with me on that, but I think that post all of his nerfs and kind of post like all these AP jungles, especially in Fearless, like later coming out, I just don't think he's that strong. I don't think he can keep up against these AP jungles. I think that like he kind of falls off of a cliff because he can't really afford his items anymore. And like kind of it's suboptimal going these like fucking like unending despair rush or like Zeke's, God forbid, like all these like dog shit items, right? So yeah, it's just kind of like it's weird. But yeah, it's whatever. DFM B1 Talia, I think this is I don't really get it because like they've shown they can flex it to AD, and like I guess they could technically flex it to jungle, right? But like I think Talia just really wants to play into dashes and play like in zone of control, and then I think like you're kind of locking your thematic this early in the draft, which is like Giga Int, because I think if Chiefs are human, they can kind of respond to that quite easily. Um, and then like it's just a bit weird. Like obviously, like also like the Ashe is up, like the Ezreal's up, Karma is still a thing in this game. Like the thing with the lane swaps is like a lot of these like range supports have kind of been opened up in the game now. But like you could even do something like if your Chiefs responding, like you could even go like some sort of Senna stuff on red side. Like I kind of really like this sort of like Senna Karthus lines, right? Because like you basically can pick your top or something on R free here, and then you still have the flex to top, you have the flex to AD. Your Carvis can go mid, he can go AD with Senna, he can go jungle. Like you kind of like open up so much in the game doing this. But it's fine. I think what they do instead is it's like okay. I think I think they're just taking the Jace away because they kind of I guess they want to save they want to save the flex for like support or whatever here with the Maokai, which is like okay. I think it's just setting up like a standard, kind of like zone of control poke comp. I don't think Mao Jungle is honestly that strong right now. I think he's a lot better support, and I think he's kind of unplayable top unless it's like one or two matchups. But like I think Jace as well is technically a flex, but it's kind of just a blind for top lane, which I'm fine with. Then yeah, I also think if we're considering Fearless, kind of like drafting like Fury on Fearless, I think Maokai in game 2 is kind of weird. Because I think Maokai's value starts to go up exponentially later and later you go in Fearless. It's like I think if they held Maokai to game 3, it'd be way better than it is in game 2. If that makes sense. Just because you're taking away picks and stuff. And also, I'd rather them just pick the 80 early. Like, I don't get this weird thing of dropping the 80 prio. Like, it's probably some, like, stupid reasoning behind it, but I think it's just overcomplicating things. Like, I think you'd rather just save your kind of power picks, because, like, there's no real 80. Like, you're kind of, you're doing it to get, like, some super weird, like, Vayne angle, or, like, a Kog'Maw angle, Nyla, maybe, like, you know, some weird shit like this, like, or, like, Sivir, actually, or, like, Twitch, you know? But they're not gonna play these champs. And then you're gonna say, "Oh, why do you know that?" And I'm just, it's like I just know they're not gonna play these champs, right? Like I've seen them draft their whole split. Um, so yeah, it's a bit weird, but you know, I kind of don't get it, but it's fine. And then Sion the Fury. So here we've obviously locked in Talia's either mid or 80, but I think Talia's only 80 if you go Kalista, but Kalista's banned. So I think they basically locked like this is top, like, or you know what I mean? Like Sion's top, this guy's here, right? Like, which I think is weird. So I think what I would do in this case is I would save support pick for here because the Fury does have a lot of counters. So when I noticed that he plays the Shyvana. I think Shyvana is really, really strong, especially in these types of games. Because he's really strong into this champ, this champ, this champ. Because it's just like a hard 1v1 counter, and then obviously just scales way harder in the game. And like unless you have to go Ignite Smite on the Fury and try to contest the Shiv early to do anything, but you know, this is like kind of matchup stuff, but basically like this matchup is quite good. And it's just good into the other champs as well, and also it's your poke thematic really, really well. Another champ, maybe like Harvest or something, because you can kind of stand your own against the Fury, but yeah, I think it's pretty much, I really like the Shyvana, like Shyvana R5 here, but it depends on what they go in support, right? So yeah, but I think, you know, this is kind of like very easily like you can kind of go against this. And then Chiefs go Yone R free. To be honest, I kind of don't like it. I think Jimian kind of takes a lot of champs to gap lane and then just doesn't gap lane, I'll be honest. Like this does not sound that good unless you're like Zeka. You know what I mean? Like Talia Yone. Like I get why they picked the Yone because it's like, oh my god, we have this really strong Yone Maokai, but like I think you just need a mage here. Like I think you just need to eat the L and go a mage. And like even better, I mean you can go the Galio, right? But I guess the Galio signals you're gonna go the Shyvana R5. I think that's the only way you can go like these kind of herbivore mids like Galio, but I think otherwise like you just take a mage, bro. Like I kind of don't get it. You can kind of just go any mage here and it's like fine. Like Ari's taken off actually, but like you can, I don't know, like fucking slam the Ori, bro. Like slam the Syndra. Like you can do a lot of different stuff in this game, and I think it's okay. Um, it's like it's just really strange this Yone pick. I kind of like, I think they're just very like um they're kind of not adapting to the game IMO in the sense that I think they have a list of kind of like, okay, game 2 we're gonna go this like poke comp, and we're gonna go like Jace, and we're gonna go Maokai, and we're gonna go Yone, and then we're gonna go like Ezreal and whatever, and we're gonna have like a super great comp. But it's like you have to think about like the enemy champions, not just the comp you draft, right? Which I think also is pretty important. Like Chiefs Talon game 1, or I think with the Shinzao and stuff. Um, that kind of showed where it was technically a good comp, but it was really shit into the enemy team. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to think beyond like the one-dimensional type of shit. So yeah, I think this pick is quite bad. Like to just go a mage, or like, you know, we can just pick our AD here, guys. We can pick our AD. We can like, you know, I don't know, do something cover band, whatever. And then we can just pick our mid later. Like we can just get a good game counter for our mid, you know? Like you could just go, I don't know, some crazy shit like Swain, like you know what I mean? If you don't want to like, if you want to keep the Maga jungle, but like, you know, it's like fine. I feel like the game 2 is kind of when the draft starts to get iffy, and the game 3 is when we kind of have AIDS, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like the main thing is like, you know, I get it, but it just feels weird to have our AD pick this late, especially on red side, right? Like I think if you have Zornos in, and like your kind of meta is like, oh, we're gonna play around carry top, why not just give him R5? You know what I mean? Like you have red side, like we don't need to do that. Like it's kind of weird if we want, like we just want to go in some insane like pick, you know, and then okay, let's go for bans. They banned the Ashe Alistar. Ashe should have been B1 or should have been R2. That's pretty much it. This champ's very strong for what it does in the game. And people will say, well, you know, it's maybe not like a hyper carry but or whatever, but like you get the insane lane prio, you have insane pick potential of your ult, you scale quite well in the game, depending what you draft with it. If you go a Seraphine, or you go a Karma, or you just go more conventional Braum, like stuff like this, it's all quite good. You know, so I think if you kind of understand the game to that extent, like these picks are good. And then rest of here, they ban Caitlyn Rakan. I don't get it. Because like I think you ban the Rakan and then like or like you leave the Rakan open if you ban Caitlyn because it's like weird. They're never gonna go these two champs. I feel like they're just never gonna go Caitlyn. Like what does Caitlyn do for them here? Do you know what I mean? Like what are we angling on R4 for our AD that Caitlyn fucks it? Like I think Israel's finding the Caitlyn, man. Like the Caitlyn's not good for their draft. Like to be honest, like they kind of need more like consistent damage to do anything. It's like it's weird. I don't get it. And Rakan is like whatever, you know, like and then obviously R4 Ezreal. I don't get why we don't just pick Ezreal early. If we want to go Ezreal, like just go Ezreal here, go Ezreal here. They can go Ezreal. They can go Ezreal here. You can go Ezreal here. Like why are we dropping this pick? Like if you seriously think these champions are worth picking early, Maokai has an argument. These two, like no, like no, they're not more prio than Ezreal IMO. Like it's not even a prio thing. It's like what just blind the Ezreal. Like they're not gonna hard counter Ezreal. Like it's so strange. Like I kind of don't get it. I want to see they just go Triss Leona here. And I think Triss Leona is like they're just going for this insane killing and they're handshaking the game out to have Sound get fucked. And then they want to generate a lead, right, with this Triss Leona, and then they also have super good Grubs team comp, right? Like with these two guys, super good Grubs team comp. But I think so far Chiefs can win early fight if they have the first move to objectives and they can get mouse set like the mouse sapling setup. And then yeah, like R5, and then obviously I think Chiefs R5 Braum here is quite good. Obviously Zero Braum is like a strong lane, and then it's just really good into all these champs. But I think at the same time, like they do have quite a decent comp, and I think it's very indexed into like first move centric stuff towards top lane, because Jace, like especially his bruiser variation, has to win lane. But I think that Chiefs as a team kind of struggle with these game plan type of comps where like they just actually have to have good lane assignments, which is kind of a thing that I think noticed this game where it was like the first Grubs fight, Violet was just top lane clearing a wave, and it's like why is Violet not mid, or like why is no one helping him push him out type of thing. Like I kind of it's very strange. And then like for example, we can kind of have a thing where like, oh, we move on like 1 minute 30 before Grubs to mid lane and then have mid walk down and we just swap on that timer so we can have Ezra Braum set up for his Grub if we want to contest with Yoni, having the TP if needed. Like if Ez goes top by himself, he's just gonna get the lane pushed into him by like whoever, you know, and then they obviously push way faster than Ezreal, so they're gonna have first mid objective. Like either in the case you put Ezreal top, you have to trap the mid player, or you just have to give objective. But they do this really weird thing where they give objective and then they kind of go back in randomly right at the end, while Violet's just AF clicking top wave, and then they end the fight after Grubs get taken. And then it's the same thing with second Grubs, where Violet's just in bot lane against a Scion with TP, and it's kind of like, what are we doing? Like, oh, I guess we're just giving 6 Grubs because like Ezreal can't kill him or CC him, and then like obviously in this game, like I said, we're kind of ego picking Talia, and then Jimmy is getting completely fucked in lane. And it's just it's strange where it's like this draft technically should be hard winning, I think, where like we actually have a decent draft here, but they're just completely clueless on how to play it. And I think Hushel as well, he had a really good performance in game 1, but he seemed really uncomfortable in the Maokai. And it's kind of like I don't get why like we don't just angle, like we can angle a Viego for him, even a Vi. Like honest to God, we could just angle a Vi for him, like, or like another 80 bruiser, or we flex Maokai to support and then give him the R5 to get a really good Shyvana angle here or something. And then I think the game's also really good. It's like weird, but it's like, you know, it's like if he has Shyvana angle here, all of his lanes have prio, so you can kind of just run the map against Nefiri, who he hard counters, right? So yeah, I think it's really strange, but it's definitely a lot better than game 3. So okay, game 3 is the kind of disaster game, right? So bans all the same for Chiefs. This side Calista bands the same. Poppy, Victor, I think are fine because they just have a lot of value this late and Fearless, and Maokai's off the table. And then also, you know, they kind of want to have the Varus for themselves. So they take the... What the hell? Oh, whoops, I hate. They take the Varus here. Good B1, obviously, I think it's fine. And then this is where the draft completely goes to shit. We go Jin Skarner. So, let's ask ourselves some quick questions first. If we go Jin Skarner, right? Firstly, we have a no damage AD, we have a no damage jungle, and then let's think about this, guys. If it's game free of Fearless, let's think about this. Vi's banned. So we've shown this. Jin Zhao's off the table, Neferi's off the table, Maokai's off the table. And then of course the whatchamacallit in game one, I'm having a mind blank, Wukong's off the table. So we're thinking critically here. They most likely are angling AP jungle, okay? Or like just a carry jungle or something. So then why would we go the champion that is hard countered by like every AP jungle? So let's think of this, right? What counters it? Udyr, they won't play this. Lilia, they could play this. Shyvana, they could play this. What else in the game? Fiddle, they probably aren't going to play this. Like, you know, I could just list champs, but like, you could Ivern. Ivern's really strong as well. Obviously not a carry champ really though. It's kind of a carry champ in a different way though, but like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different champs that can angle here into the Skarner that work really well with different team comps, and also like if you pick them early, you can kind of build your thematic around it. And you kind of already know what these guys want to do. They kind of want to go like a good kind of like, at least in theory, right? They want to kind of go a carry, like they want to have top R5 counter pick here. They want to have like a good high damage mid because they have this insane pick. But even then, it's just bad. Like I think the draft is just lost from here, and then it's like, oh, that might be hyperbole, right? But like, I kind of don't want to hear the cope about it. I think Jin is an extremely useless champion. I get people are like, oh my god, you can go the Yomu's rush, but it's just it's a flavor of the month thing. Nothing's changed in the game in terms of Jin patch notes or item patch notes or you know things added or whatever to the game or things subtracted away from other champs that kind of boost his relative strength. There's like 10 other champs here that are better than Jin straight up. Especially like you are going Jin with a non-carry jungler, so you just have pick and pick. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like are just indexing heavy towards here and here, but then that just means that they can also index heavy towards here and here, and then they can have the counter pick in jungle. So effectively, what they can do is then just completely outpace you in jungle, and then also like try to contain your win con because you're a very one-dimensional win con in this sense, right? So you can't really play for your bot in this game. But yeah, it's just it's really disturbing. Like I kind of don't get like, for example, Jin can't play the game against champs like how does Jin play the game against Lilia? He can't is the answer, right? He's gonna get rolled. Lilia will always be able to equal or faster than Skarner on first clear, and then basically just be like pathing bot to see what happens bot lane early, like Jin X lane, you know, with control the wave or whatever, and then Lilia will just penta unless their bot lane complete into 1 HP, and in that case, like it's unrelated to picks in the game, right? It's just a trading thing. And obviously DFM kind of realized this, and then they go to Lily Alistar. I think Alistar is maybe a bit suboptimal, in the sense that there might be better picks here, but it is still quite decent because Leona's taken off the board. And like you kind of want these type of champs with the Lilia, and obviously Lilia is Exodia here. Like these champs can all play into Lilia, and now you kind of just have to play this game of like, what like picks can Chief go here to save their draft because they've completely boomed their game with these first two, right? So I don't really get it. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't get why we have a jungle subcore. You're just accomplishing like what are you accomplishing in the game? Because your Skarner just getting bleed out farmed and like it's like why are we picking a carry jungle for Husha in game 3? Like if we want to go this dog shit Jhin pick, right? Or we can just go Ashe. We can go Ashe and something, right? We can go Ashe X and then be happy with the game. Or like even if, you know, spoiler alert, they want to go Nidalee, right? You Nidalee early, because then you can flex. And then it's like, instead of being dog shit, it's like mid, you know? Like, and then you can kind of like some poke carry potential in jungle with this like pushing ball lane of like Jhin Bard or whatever, right? I don't know, it's really disturbing. Like, I think if we planned for Jhin Skarner early, we have something wrong in our brains, or we're just picking random shit in the moment because we have no plan. And in that case, that's like we need to go back in the lab and figure shit out. Like, kind of disturbing. And then obviously I think they realize the game is lost, and they just kind of go, fuck, what can we pick here? Sylas, really dog shit. And I might be saying, well, there's an Alistar, and you know, all these ults are good for Sylas, right? But the issue is that Sylas is like a champion. He's not just the ults he steals, right? So like you're gonna get counterpicked in mid lane, and then theme countered in the game, and then you're gonna load into like the completed draft, and then go like, oh, I can't lane at all. And then once I'm out of lane, he can't get a good fight or ult off because he's down so much gold, right? And he's just a cannon minion. Like I don't know why we picked this. Like we're listening. I think what happened, like I'm kind of refusing to believe that this was our plan, that our coach said, yeah, we're gonna pick this. But like I'm just thinking of the mid lane player said, yeah, pick me Silas here, right? Like he's not really thinking that much about the game. And then we just went like, yep, sure, bro, sure. But it's like we kind of have to have a little pushback if it's like a really dog shit pick, right? Like it's whatever. Like I mean, obviously they're just Yasuo quirky bans, like the dog shit bans. I don't know why we're doing it. It doesn't really matter because like this draft is lost anyway. Here it's completely dog water, hard, and Bard gets picked here. Like, and you kind of have to think in theory this is actually okay because Jhin Bard will have really good pushing lane, but you have to think about in the game what does Bard accomplish, because Bard is just more pick, but like we have so our mid lane is completely useless. This just ignored, like this guy's gone. He's not doing anything. You know what I mean? He's counterpicked. He's gonna be useless in the game. He's theme countered here. He's gonna be useless. We're not playing for our jungle really. So basically, like Jhin, we can get pushed with Jhin, and that's kind of it. So it's like if we're kind of like in a win lane as Jhin Bard, and then instead of being murdered at 10 minutes, we murder at 20 minutes. Doesn't really make any difference to winning the game or the actual state of affairs of the game, right? And so here DFM are just gonna B4 B5. They're gonna B4 B5 the Mbessa and the Oriana. They're just rounding out a very good team comp here. It's fine. Super nice ability to play and get insanely fed. And Bessa's a good blind. Ori's really good here, the Alistar and Bessa. And then also it's just strong prio pick into Silas because it fucks him completely early. It's a super nice draft win for DFM, I think, but I think a lot of that was just Chiefs giving them the draft win. Then literally, let me just press. So, bro, we've been watching, I think, maybe too many like Lorlo YouTube shorts or like the shy Zeus VODs, but this champion is not real. And like the reason they pick Nidalee is because early game they can flex it, and also because it just has kind of decently winning matchups and everything, so you can pick it and like win lane, and then let your kind of team do stuff. You know, like you're kind of just winning lane and that's it. But like you kind of need to go a carry pick here because your whole team is just pick and like prio, but like you don't have anything to actually carry the game. And so kind of like what do we go here then? Like Camille maybe? But I think that the draft is just cooked anyway, even if it's a good Camille angle here, right? So I mean the draft is lost on these two, right? So like there's no pick that's gonna completely save the game, obviously. But like I think it's very emblematic because like we're just kind of ego picking the Nidalee, I think. Because it's like either we asked for the Nidalee, and then I'm kind of like I'm gonna say we asked for it as a player because I'm kind of refusing my own sanity. We're like, yeah, let's pick this. And then we're like, yeah, sure, Italy's good here, bro. Let's lock it in R5. And then obviously I think there's dynamics in team of like you can't just deny a pick, because but like you know what I mean. You don't like hurt the player's ego or whatever, but like you have to think critically. What the fuck does Italy do here into Mbessa? Like goes up 10 CS in lane or whatever. Maybe that's it. But like you can pick Camille and play the game out, or you can just go some hyper carry range top or something, and you have to cook to save this draft completely, because like this game is completely lost before Nidalee pick. And I think it's very, very emblematic of this draft because the Chiefs run so far just be doing random shit like this, right? Like I kind of it's kind of insane that we went from this game one, which was like quite decent, even though I think there were draft blunders. Like I could kind of understand the reasoning behind it, to just kind of this like dog shit. Like it's just like a dumpster fire. Like I kind of don't see where our coaching staff at all is in this. It's kind of just players drafting because it's just completely random, disjointed solo queue shit. Like this is a solo queue draft. Like this isn't a pro draft. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like I think we need to be realistic in the sense that like probably the entirety of OS's future relies on this year of LCP, and we're just kind of egoing shit like this instead of actually doing the motions that make us good, like properly game planning, figuring out what's actually good in the meta, kind of like, you know, actually figuring out our lane assignments, figuring out lane push outs, objective controls, under control, like, you know, all this shit. Like I'm just saying random shit, but like you kind of get what I mean, right? Like it's just it's so disturbing. Like this draft just should never happen. Like no team in the world is draft like no team, like there's a reason Chiefs are the only team that have 0 wins, right? Like in the entire in every major region. And it's because of shit like this. Like, this isn't a gameplay issue. This is a draft issue. Like, you can be the best team in the world, and like, you know, you can probably like mechanically gap people in lane and win this game, maybe. But like, this is like the best teams in the world will have like a fucking under 50% win rate with this comp. You know, like, it's just it's gross. Like, especially against a team comp like this. Like, what are we doing? Like, literally, what are we doing? Like, it's so it's genuinely crazy. Like I don't want to flame, but it's just like it's genuinely insane. This is what we're doing. Like I kind of don't get it. Like it's not rocket science to kind of have good value drafts. You know, like you don't even have to be super fucking like insane LS homebrew. Like you can kind of be like Weibo Gaming with like Danny, right? Before you know moves on, but like Danny with Weibo Gaming would draft stuff that I thought was like, oh, I don't think this pick is that good, but like it does this, you know, it does things in the game that like kind of are like that are actually making sense for who they're versing and the champs are versing, right? So it's like, oh, they'll go like fucking Lucian mid or something when it's like, you know, Lucian mid will actually get you that push out in the lane and kind of like teach you, like, it'll be like into a team. Like, I remember at Worlds, Chingy, you know, they kind of like draft that Weibo Gaming goes this Lucian pick, and it's kind of like, that's what you have to do to win against Chingy, you know? And like, I can kind of understand the vision behind it, you know? But it's like, this Chiefs shit, like, what is the vision behind this? And like you can sit here and kind of make shit up to me the whole time, but the reality is there's no actual critical thinking going on here. That's the reality. Like there's nothing critically being thought about here. It's just picking shit that people's like. It's like we probably planned this dog shit pick because like, oh, you know, my AD thinks the Jin's good right now in the meta or whatever. Like it's or like, oh, I saw like fucking someone play this and so Skarner, people think Skarner's still good when he's really not, especially later in fearless like this. Like Skarner's only good when you see like the Shinzao and shit, and you can kind of outpace one place. Like you're not blinding Skarner like this in game. It's disturbing. Like it, you know. I don't mean to yap, but it's like I think our summary of these games is just like we have like I don't think we have a proper idea on how to like draft still. And then even when we do draft good comps, we're kind of carried by our comps' relative strengths rather than like actually playing the game out correctly. And I think that can ink you wins if you're like a worse team and like against better teams just from kind of skirmishing and winning skirmishes randomly. But like if you want to be a good team in LCP, you actually have to play the game right and like play your comps properly, right? And it's not an issue of players. Husha's a very good player. Jimmy's not a bad player, but like he's just kind of egoing his lanes. Like Zornus, Bio, whoever plays, they're both good players, right? Like Violet's a good player, Luon's a good player. Like it's not a thing of like, oh no, all my players are like bad and like they can't play against, you know, like fucking like Levi and Kiaya and shit, right? It's like no, it's just our approach to the game is completely dog water and like we like yeah, it's just our approach to the game is dog water. Our approach to draft is shit and our approach to the actual like game and macro is just bad. Um so I think there's always a lot of things to be improved here, and I kind of hope that they figure that out because I think the Talon Chiefs series as well was extremely weird in terms of drafting, where they again I don't think they consider the relative interactions in the game between like the champions they draft and stuff. But you know I can probably make I'll probably make a video on that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, yep, thank you for all the support, views and stuff, like Twitter, all that. Follow my Twitter. Da 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 da. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye bye.